Hi guys. If you are watching the replay, drop me a purple heart, although it might not be purple for long. I bought some brown hair dye. We will see how that goes. Anyway, for those of you that don't know me, hi, my name is Morgan. I am on a mission to show moms that you can be like hugely successful and also like an incredible mom. And on that subject, kind of related, I want to tell you a story about a huge breakthrough that I've had in my business in the last 8 months. In the last 8 months, I had a huge breakthrough in my business. I have been in network marketing for 6 years, a little over 6 years now. And I honestly, from the get-go, have been like above average successful, okay? Literally in my very first month, I made like $600. By the end of about 6 months, I was making like $2,000 a month. Again, these are not normal. This is just like my journey and it ties into what I'm going to tell you. So, I took off very quickly. I was all in my business very quickly. I knew I wanted this to replace my full-time job that I had when I joined network marketing. I was working full time and I didn't want to. I wanted to be able to stay home with my kids. And so I dove all in from day one. I was doing all the things that my upline told me to do, even if they terrified me. I was like, yes, I will do them. Yes, whatever you tell me to do. Like, I'm all in. I want to quit my job. I want to stay home with my kids. So I was able to quit my job and stay home with my kids within 9 months. So I've been doing this full time since January of 2018. And then around 2020, okay, in 2020, my team took off. We 4X'd our size and we 4X'd our numbers in 90 days. So whenever everyone went into lockdown, I think it was around March of 2020, March, April-ish of 2020. My team took off. Like out of nowhere, all of a sudden I had like 1,200 people on my team. And we ended up doing like $5 million that year. We literally 4X'd anything that we'd ever done in the past. And what I found a lot of things. But what I found in that rapid growth, everyone thinks they want rapid growth, right? Is anyone else like, you're just like, man, I wish I could get 1,200 people on my team in 90 days. I wish we could 4X our numbers practically overnight. Like I wish. But in that process, I actually learned a lot about myself as a leader, about the systems that I had set up for my team. And going from a leader of about 300 people to a leader of 1,200 people, I learned was a massive jump, okay? And so back then in 2019, or from 2017 to 2019, I was a very strong recruiter. I was a very strong sponsor. I was a very good leader. I still consider myself a really good leader, but I was so focused on using this business to help women change their lives. So I sell makeup and skincare. I currently have no makeup on my face right now. But I sell makeup and skincare that I am obsessed with and that I believe in. And so when I, help women get started in this business, I help them build confidence. I help them pay their bills. I help them feel more empowered in their life. I help them take charge in their life. And so I believe in this business so much. I also bring them into my community. Like my team is incredible. So I'm someone who's never really had friends. And so I have friends, or I have a whole community that I bring people into, you know what I mean? And so I believe in this business. I believe in this business model. I believe in my company and in this opportunity. So I had been a super strong recruiter for 2 years. I'm talking like 50 plus people a year that I was recruiting. And then in 2020, when I had like 100 people join my first line, something happened. And I realized that the way that I was bringing people on didn't really work, because what I was doing was every single person who joined me personally on my first line, I was setting up their group for them. So in my company, we have private groups. We set up a whole beauty group where they can do their makeup tutorials and their skincare videos and do all of their posts and do all of their sales. We all have our own private beauty communities. Back in 2019, okay, I was setting up every single group for them. I was setting up their albums for them. I was doing all the posts during their launch party for them. I was going live in their group to demo the products for them. Imagine having 100 people that you have to do that for. That is impossible. It is actually impossible. But what happened, and some of you might relate to this, some of you who are very like loving, giving type of personalities, I felt so much guilt and shame. I literally felt shame that I couldn't handhold these women, that there was no time for me to set up their groups for them. There was no time for me to set their albums up for them. There was no time for me to get them started in the way that I had envisioned for years getting them started. And so another thing that I noticed is that I was starting to feel I don't like the word burnt out. I don't like when people use that word. Almost taken advantage of. And I've talked to my team about this, so they know all of this. I was starting to feel almost like taken advantage of like, yes, of course I could set up your group for you, but you could also set up your group yourself. You know what I mean? And I was feeling like a lot of the people that I was attracting on my team were like super whiny or were super just negative about anything, and they would blame me like if their businesses weren't taking off because I wasn't able to do the posts for them. And so it was really spinning into this like something that I love sponsoring, I love recruiting. It was really spinning into this thing that was just, I didn't want to bring people on because I was bringing people on and I felt like I was babying people. It felt like I was bringing on like little kids into the business who I was having to like hold their hand, and if I didn't, they would cry. You know what I mean? Like I was spinning recruiting into such a negative space for myself. And so instead, I stopped recruiting. I mean, people would still join me because people are naturally attracted to like, you know, I do videos and all of that stuff. But my recruiting numbers went way down. I stopped earning trips. I stopped hitting the sponsoring achievements for 2 years. Those numbers are like gone. Like I was not bringing people into the business because I was just like not willing to bring people in a way that like was just exhausting me. So if any of you have ever had leadership burnout, recruiting burnout, where you're just like, I'm bringing people on and then they're leaving, or I'm pouring a ton of time into you and then you're quitting, or I'm doing every single thing for you and you just, there's no one's grateful, you know what I mean? Or maybe like there were some people where I did love them and I believed in them so big, but like I didn't have the time to handhold them through their business, so nothing ever happened. And so it's just this spiral of guilt and shame and negativity. And so I just stopped. I literally stopped. I told the CEO of my company, I was like, I can't recruit right now. Like my team is huge. I need to focus on my team. I need to make sure everyone's stable. I was like, I'm done. I can't recruit. This is just not working for me. So I stopped for 2 years, you guys. And I needed that. I needed that so badly. And some of you might be in that place right now where you're just like, I can't do it, Morgan. Like I cannot go through that. It's too hard, especially if you're a people pleaser. It is hard. And so I ended up having a conversation with my business coach about this back in January. And I said, I love recruiting. I love sponsoring. I believe in this business so much. I know that I can help women to change their lives through this opportunity, but I just can't. I cannot launch their businesses for them. I cannot be hands-on because then I don't have time for anything else. And that's just not what I want for my life. And she was like, why are you doing all of this for them? And I was like, what? She was like, you have systems. And I was like, but no one uses the systems. And she was like, Morgan, no one uses the systems because you've never made anyone use the systems. And I was like, it can't be that easy. It can't be that simple. I was like, what if? I literally said, what if I recruit all of these people and none of them use the systems? And she basically was like, well, come back to me if that's the problem. And let me tell you, I've never had to go back to her with that problem. And so what I have found in the last 8 months, and I want to share this story with any of you who have felt stuck, is that I gave myself a crazy goal to recruit 200 people this year. That's 4 times in any amount I've ever done, like in a single year, okay? So I gave myself a crazy goal of recruiting 200 people this year, of helping 200 women find this business opportunity, help 200 women get started in their makeup businesses, whatever you want to call it. But that's all that mattered. I told this to her. I was like, I'm going to put my head down. I'm going to tag them in the systems. And if they don't use the systems, I'm just going to keep sponsoring. It's up to them. We're adults. Can I talk to you about the fact that the people that I recruit are mostly 30, 35, 40, 45? Like, we are adults, you guys. And this has just never clicked in my head before. So I said, I'm going to sponsor these people and I'm going to plug them into the systems. And then I'm just going to keep recruiting. And it's up to them whether they want to use the systems or not. And if they use the systems and the systems work, then this is what I'm going to keep doing. You guys, I have recruited 40 people this year since January. 40 people in 7 months. And when I tell you that they are, every single one of them has set up their own group, has done their own albums, has done their own videos, has done their own launch party. They've copy pasted every single thing that I've told them to do. So many of you are like me and you have the systems. You already have everything that you need, but you've never trusted the system. You've always thought that you had to handhold people, and then you get burnt out and they get frustrated when nothing ever happens because they never actually took ownership of their business. And so these women that I've brought on in the last 7 months, I mean, when I tell you, they don't whine about anything because they just take ownership of their business. They're not waiting for me to do anything because from day one, it was, here's how to set up your group. Here's how to do your albums. If you don't, like, I've never said if you don't do it, but it's like, if they don't do it, it's literally not on me. It's not an option. I have not made it an option. Half of these women, I'm not even in their groups. They're running their business on their own and they're coming to me if they have questions. And here is the biggest thing that I found. This is why this is so important, is because I could cry about this. I am so on fire because the women that are active in my chats, the women that are active in my team are the women that are doing things. They're the women that are moving, because the ones who never launch, the ones who never press the buttons, they're also not active. And when I tell you this has shifted my entire team culture, in 7 months, I've shifted a team culture that has been around for 6 years. Because before, the people that were active in the chats were actually the people who were whining because they were like waiting for me to fix all of their problems. My top runners weren't even in my chats. Now, my chats are like the top girls helping each other be raised even higher. The people who are on my Zoom calls are the highest level of people instead of the lowest level of people. Like, when I tell you that this has shifted everything, because the people who are getting the attention from me are the people who are asking the questions, which means they're having to go through the steps instead of it being the people that I'm chasing after. Because before, again, some of you might relate to this, if they were doing well, I left them alone. And if they weren't doing well, I was all over them. I was literally putting all of my time and energy and knowledge and resources and gifts into the people who weren't even going to use it instead of the people who are running. I was like, oh, they're fine. You guys. And then I was wondering why I was feeling the way that I was feeling. And so anyway, so now when I tell you that the women that I have surrounded myself with the last 7 months, I am on fire because they are running with me. They are doing our events with me. They are part of the processes with me. Like, it is such a huge shift in my culture. And so I wanted to tell you guys that story because I just needed you to hear it. I really think I needed you guys to hear that from me, from my voice, like, just so you can understand, because I wouldn't have believed it if I wouldn't have seen it. And I never would have done it if it wouldn't have gotten to a point where I just was never going to recruit again unless I could figure out a different way. And so this way has been working so well for us. So anyway, I wanted to share that because within the next couple of weeks, I'm going to earn a huge trip that I haven't earned in years. I literally, like I said, I sacrificed the trips because I was just not even willing to help people. And so now I'm about to earn this trip. And when I earn this trip, I want you to know that this trip is so much more than just earning a trip to the Dominican Republic. This trip is such a symbol of the shifted culture of my team, the shift in my mindset. Like, I have never cared as much about a trip as I care about this one, because this is a symbol for me that we have moved into the next level of business. So anyway, if any of you are stuck, you can always feel free to reach out. I'm happy to help. I'm happy to answer anyone's questions. Because when you find a team that's running with you, I mean, you are just going to want to shout your opportunity from the rooftops, because it is game changing when you know that every time you show up to a chat or every time you show up to a training, people are showing up with notebooks. Like, it is just wild. So anyway, I hope that was helpful, and I hope that story helps any of you to start recruiting again. Bye, guys.